Well, good morning, you Tuberubers and Tuberettes alike. It's a short talk down by the Rio with you know who. It's been quite a while since I posted a vid. I guess maybe due to lack of interest on my part. And if you're one of my viewers, I apologize for. I mean, it's not like I went silent. It's just, well, frankly, I had very little to say. That was, in any way different than stuff I just keep saying over and over again. If you ever noticed, old people, they just tend to repeat themselves quite a bit. And I know one guy, he's not old, he's in his early 30s, and I swear I think I know his stories better than he does. He gets going, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can almost recite it with him as he's. It's like, come on, man, think of a new story or something. And anyhow, down here by the Rio, it's a beautiful Saturday morning. It's probably about, I'm guessing around 9 o'clock or something like that. Actually, I have no idea what time it is. And I decided to try my usual adventure for Saturdays. I've been attempting to do this for weeks now, and every time it's the same thing. There's a little bench. Too bad you can't see it over there. A bench over there about 250 yards down the way from where I'm parked on this bench. And it's about as far as I can go. I used to go walk on Saturdays. I usually go 6 to 8 miles, more or less. Maybe longer here and there. But then on a Sunday, I would often do about a 3 to 4 mile walk, just cause. And I just can't do it anymore. I haven't been able to walk like that in months, and there's something going on with my legs and my feet, which is just weird. I have no explanation for it, and I'm going now to. Apparently, I'm going to three different doctors, and my general guy, a podiatrist, and the podiatrist because I was complaining about my feet so much, and all he really did was he said, "Well, you have flat feet," and he recommended I get on Amazon and get some arch supports. I thought, well, that's very helpful, thank you. And so I've got arch supports. I mean, it's like, and flat feet. That didn't begin yesterday, okay? But this weird thing with my legs and my feet has been going on for several months. But I mean, apparently I've had flat feet for decades, okay? So I mean, that's not part of the equation in my humble opinion. And probably 2 weeks ago, I came up with a brainwave. There's a guy I work with named Demetrio who's really sharp at scoping out plumbing problems and cutting right to the chase to know what has to be dealt with and the short, easy way to get there without destroying the house and stuff. And so anyhow, Dee was saying to me, "Have you had your thyroid checked?" And I said, "Nope." So I requested that of the doc, and it's a blood test. So we did that blood sample on Monday, and I got this robocall thing back on Thursday saying, "You have important test results," blah, 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 blah. And then they wanted me to get on this online portal, and I thought, no, I don't think so. And they said, if you have problems with the online, you can call in the office. And I said, okay, I'll do that. So I left a message because apparently the lady at the desk can't tell me what the results were or something. I don't know. Anyway, we'll have the nurse call you right back. It's like, what do you mean by right back? And so apparently what they mean is something that exceeds 72 hours. I don't know. Maybe I'll hear from her next week or something. But I did walk in yesterday, and I talked to the lady at the desk, and she said, "Well, I'm sorry, I can't tell you the results, but I can give you these printouts." And she gave me three printouts, which were incoherent nonsense. I don't even know. It's just a series of numbers, like kind of a little spreadsheet thing. And the best I could tell by looking at it, and I'm not sure I was reading it right at all, was that, well, my numbers for thyroid were about normal. So I thought, well, that's off the page. But at any rate, these weird symptoms I got, I love to stand around in the mornings, on a chilly morning especially, and I'll run my hands under hot water right here on my wrist and into my palms. It's just like, oh, it feels so good. And I don't know why. It's a good idea. You should do it. But the thing is that well, I'll tell you a story about the water at the house too. Pretty exciting stuff. And so anyhow, he says, "Well, you gotta have self check." So anyway, I brought it up, and so we've got a test result somewhere, and I don't know what that result is, other than a series of numbers that apparently fall somewhere in the middle of some spectrum. So there you have it. It's been a couple of probably 3 to 5 weeks, I think, since I actually sat down and made a vid. There was that little one I did at the McDonald's there that day where I was grumping about the price of coffee. Today I went down, had some good breakfast at the pit stop, and decided to try, get this, red chili instead of green. In the state of New Mexico, there's this ongoing thing about red or green, red or green. It's like the crucial issue. Get to the bottom of it. We've got to reach to the bottom of that issue. So I'm a green guy, but I decided, well, I'm going to try red chili on an omelet, and actually it was really good. So maybe you should try that too. It's a it's a different flavor, and it wasn't killer spicy. It wasn't like super hot or anything like that, but really good. So anyhow, I was at the house last night, and I thought, well, I got nothing else to do. It was 6 o'clock at night, and I thought I'm going to water the grass. I turned on the garden hose, and the thing's running full tilt bozo. Probably dribbles out about 6 inches off the end of the hose. It's like that's it. So I thought, well, I must have a kink in the hose. So I checked the hose, and then I rechecked it, and didn't notice nothing wrong with the hose. So I went indoors and sampled the water in there, and yep, real wimpy flow. I got up this morning, and I'm going to call the city later and see if they can dispatch a crew out, because they've got a corporation stop. This is a trailer park, and it's got a huge oversized water meter in there. And I don't want to be the one to try to rotate that thing, because if something goes kaboom, it's on me. And so I went ahead and popped the lid to the meter, thinking, well, maybe I'm going to see a meter that's running full tilt bozo down there, because I thought that there might be a break in the main somewhere, and it's just not yet showing above grade, because the dirt is so sandy it eats the water. Well, I don't think that's going on. First of all, I couldn't reach down far enough to look at the meter anyway. It's way down there. But I noticed that the corporation stop is only on about a quarter of a turn, and I thought, well, what's that about? The thing, when it swings around, there's two little notches that line up, and there's a hole drilled through there, and so the city could come by, turn the meter off, and pin that lock if they needed to for some reason, say you don't pay your bill. And so it has an option. Well, when you turn it on, it's a half turn. It's a rotation. Let's see, I think it's counterclockwise. I never remember which way they go on. But anyway, yeah, I believe that's correct. Yeah, counterclockwise. And this thing's on about a quarter of a turn. So I thought, well, yeah, that would really throttle the volume way down. So I'm going to call the city, see if they can dispatch a guy out there, and have him bring a meter key and open the darn thing up. Maybe I could water the grass later. Big exciting adventure. And I haven't really been having any real adventures. I'm still going to the same church, Grace Covenant, instead of UPC, and I've been over there ever since that crazy business in December. And I haven't really decided yet whether I'm going to shift membership or not. To me, that's kind of low on my list of things to think about, but I might. I don't know. It's just the UPC is bleeding members like crazy, and as far as I can tell, no one's talking about it. It's sort of like, well, this issue doesn't technically exist, so there will be no conversations concerning that topic. And anyway, why was I talking about church? I have no idea. This is what happens when you get old. You begin to wander off on these rabbit trails. And so anyway, yeah, I was just kind of giving you an update of nothing's really changed, but lately I've been watching a lot of videos. There's a guy named Mo Gadat. I think it's Gawdat. I think that's right. He was one of the big heavy-duty innovators, I guess, early on with this AI junk. And I, for one, believe that the AI wave, which is coming, and in fact is perhaps already here, Gadat believes that the AGI has already commenced. If you can think of a rocket taking off, it's already left the launch pad. Now, artificial general intelligence would be one thing, but then the next step, if that's achieved, is artificial super intelligence. And the route to that we don't quite know yet, but in my book, and I've written this down several times, so it's got to be true. that when a machine can begin to inspect its own lines of code and rewrite its own code to improve it, make it maybe more efficient, more broad-minded, more cover a wider spectrum. I don't know. When a machine can write its own code and upgrade its own code, then basically it's game over for the human race. And so, Musk has been on top of this for years, and this is what really inspired him, I think, to start this Neuralink company to try to get the direct machine to human interface, which probably is coming within just a few years. By the way, stay the hell away from that. Anyone who wants to put any kind of chip in your brain or any kind of probes leading directly into your cortex or cerebellum or wherever, no dice. It's, in my opinion, this transhumanist agenda is the most dangerous cult on the planet. It's frankly batshit insane, and the net results of it will be catastrophic. That's my humble assessment. The whole thing is an anti-God perspective. The whole idea is to try to defeat death and achieve a sort of machine immortality linked up with a sort of a hyper brain, an electronic super brain. It sounds horrible. So the way I think about it is, with my walking this morning, I was able to go maybe 250 yards before my legs crapped out. I don't know what it is. My calves just turned to stone. My feet are numb. But my up in my rear of my legs is just aching. It's like, what is going on? But anyway, the less you walk, the less you can walk. The less you use a muscle, the less the muscle's able to do. And so as you turn over more and more control of your life to machines and to machine learning, the less you got to do upstairs, which means you're going to begin to forget how to process that on your own. You're going to begin to lose valuable survival skills. Down here on the earth, we're to be thankful for everything to the living God. Thankful for everything. And that includes the struggles. Now, it's hard while you're in pain, especially to be thankful for that. I think you'd have to be a pretty twisted cookie to be thankful for pain. But the point is that it's the push through it. It's the endurance, the patience, the learning to calm down and restrain my anger. Yeah, I just want to lash out sometimes. Like, what the hell's going on, and why can't anyone figure this out? Why can't we get to the bottom of this? Because really, what a lot of the allopathic model is about is just treating symptoms, not the problem. So you come in and the doctor, basically they'll give you pain pills is the short version. And that's what I've got is a slug of pain pills plus some hypertension drugs, which are not doing the job. The doc wants to see my numbers bounce down on the systolic to somewhere in the mid 130s or even low 130s. Well, consistently, I'm 155, 162, stuff like that. The lower number, the systolic, diastolic, I think is the other one, ideally should be around 80. Mine's are like 98, 102, 105, stuff like that. And these blood pressure drugs are just bouncing off. It's like throwing BBs at a battleship. Good luck at sinking that sucker. And so we have a world which is in a sort of an anti-God agenda. And speaking of anti-God agenda, have you been following any of the story out here with the Attorney General? I have no idea what's really happening, but the Epstein files supposedly were going to be released. And now I didn't really bother paying that much attention because I knew it wasn't going to be real. But the stuff that I did look at was on one post. It was just page after page after page, redacted, all the way through this thing. It's like, well, that was very informative. So somebody in the FBI is essentially either hiding or destroying evidence about the Epstein files. Now, wait a minute, who's paying them? And so this brings up this whole issue of a dark government or a deep state. Who are these people that have the control that they can reach out and basically frustrate an Attorney General of the United States, giving her just these bogus nothing burger documents or nothing at all? So we're in an anti-God agenda. The theater here, down here, everything is geared up to be centered on you, centered on how important you are and what your needs are and all that junk. And I just think about that, when we begin to learn through physical pain, yes, if need be, the idea of patience or endurance, we realize that patience and endurance of themselves are valuable or perhaps virtuous and maybe even admirable. But really, what do we need that for? I mean, why bother? Why would you bother training, say, for instance, a dog to fetch something, unless one day you hope to send the dog out on a bird hunt to drag the bird back to you? You know what I mean? You train animals in order to perform tasks. You don't train them just for the sheer enjoyment of it. And so, in other words, we're being trained by the maker who's designed this entire theater of operations that we're in. He has declared the end from the beginning, and he has sworn on his own honor for a long time. Go back and read the prophets, to wipe man off the face of earth. He's coming in fire. He's coming to judge. He's coming to war. And in light of that, now the good news of the gospel, the story of redemption, the story of Christ taking in his body the tremendous blow of judgment and all of that stuff. Now that begins to fit, because otherwise it's just sentimental guck about a really nice guy that got stuck in the neck at the end. Boom, the end. Well, then maybe he didn't end because he rose up. But the meaning of the gospel is wildly distorted in our era, because there is no message of judgment or justice, equality under law. And so, whoever it is that's hiding these Epstein files, whoever it is that's driving this whole AI revolution to basically make you as a human being obsolete, these people are very powerful. They're probably the very same people who are ultimately behind that whole COVID fiasco, trying to engineer it such that you couldn't even go from place to place if they'd had their way, without a COVID passport, and stuff like that. And so, in this environment of you might call it darkness, yeah, darkness would be good. We live in a war zone. We're in a place that's occupied by enemy forces. We're in a fight against demonic powers. There are people, there are humans who are involved in the occult deeply, busy casting spells, and all kinds of crazy stuff is happening. The world around us is busy being reorganized, and I think probably not for the better. And the net result would be a new kind of humanity, which is not an improvement, by the way. It's not more than human; it's significantly less than human. When you blend man and machine, that's not a step up; that's a step down. And so the man fusing with his own inventions and becoming one with his own devices is a really bogus and mainly pointless attempt to achieve a kind of godhood on his own, little g on that one. And that's what we're looking at, is that at the end of time, as far as I can tell, there's someone called Antichrist appearing. And this Antichrist, in my opinion, will be the guy who has made that leap. He's made the connection between man and machine. And the only way that connection, that vital link, stays alive is through demonic interaction. The same kind of things that you're seeing with all these UAPs and all this aerial phenomenon and stuff. The enemy is moving, and as a result, the church, what's she doing? Largely asleep at the switch, as you might have guessed. And the situation, as it changes and gets weirder and weirder, we've got to learn that we're in it to the end. That one way or another, either until I die or until the good Lord returns in person, in glory and in power, uh, things are not necessarily going to be all sunshine and daisies for Christianity. We're talking for probably some hard times coming, and perhaps times that are so hard that we can't survive. Uh, the uh, the end of the world may well be upon us in terms of being nearby, and I wouldn't doubt it. But I'm not going to be the one to set a date on that. But I just want to help you keep your eyes open, realize that you're in enemy territory, but you're on the winning side. The light of the world shines, and the darkness has not and cannot overcome it. The light is the power of truth and the power of reality, and that's where we reside in the Maker who made what's real, namely you also. So you're real, so act real, and have a good day. Go ahead and get yourself some exercise if you can. Hopefully, more than 250 yards in one direction before you crap out. And yeah, I'm taking care of some errands and stuff today. And like I said, call the city, see if we can get some water pressure back at the house. And I may even water the grass. Last week I got all excited and watered the whole thing down real good, get it nice and soggy so I can get my weed pulverizer out there. I just stab the ground with this little fork stick thing. And I don't like just cutting weeds off with a lawnmower because they just come back stronger. So I like to pull them out by the roots. But the only way you can do that is if the ground is nice and soaked and wet. So that was kind of the game plan for today. Maybe I'll go watch an Aggie game. I watched a couple of Aggie hardball games in the last couple of weeks, and yeah, they're doing okay. But I don't know. They're kind of sleepy this year. Not much in the way of offensive power, and their pitching, as usual, is sketchy. But anyway, I enjoy watching ball games. It's just that they raised their prices out there again, and they have no senior citizen or military discounts. So I just told the lady, I said, well, the net result of raising these prices, you realize, is that people will come to fewer games. Hello? So I probably, even if there is a game today, I probably won't go. I'm still waiting for it to actually warm up. The Aggies will still be playing ball for another month or two, and they just barely fired up. And it's the only sport I'll go out and actually pay money to see at the university. The basketball team is way more competitive, but I don't like watching basketball that much. And the football team is kind of a joke. And if somebody gives me a ticket, I'll go. Otherwise, I won't be there. But maybe next weekend and go watch a ball game. Anyway, you got to find something to do. Get out, get your errands done, and have a good day. God bless, and thanks for watching wherever you are, and thanks for being patient. Sometimes there's these long hiccups between commentaries, and you can kind of wait around, and then after a while, you just forget to look. I run across YouTube authors like that occasionally where, hey, wait a minute, I do remember. I subscribed to this guy about 6 months ago and haven't seen him since. So if you subscribe, that's up to you. But the thing is it's easy to forget if you don't hear regularly from people. So hello, I'm here still and still breathing. So that's something good. Have a good day. Bye. And it's a Saturday. Enjoy it.